So, up on the screen right now is a tweet from Jesse Cox put up last night that speaks to a worrying trend in gaming these days, something I've noticed increasingly. Now, a little background. I grew up in the days where you played multiplayer by going to an option on a screen, and instead of using all these fancy in-game overlays and everything else, you went to this option and you typed in the other person's IP address. It linked you to their computer, to the game that they were hosting, that they chose to host, because you had to have one host game and one game that was running on a different thing. Anyway, it was a good system. It was utterly hit and miss. Your connection could drop out for no good reason. But it worked. It meant that, say I wanted to play multiplayer with one of my friends sat next to me on a desk, I found their IP address, I typed it in, it worked. Now, gaming these days, especially gaming through Origin, which my thoughts on Origin are very clear to anyone who follows me in any capacity. I fucking hate the platform. It is awful. It's trying to be Steam and failing so horribly it's embarrassing. People who want to play multiplayer through Origin have to be able to enable the Origin in-game overlay, or else you can't connect to your friends list and therefore play the multiplayer. Because that makes perfect sense. You know, you couldn't just have an option in the fucking game to do it. About 5 weeks ago, as the tweet suggests, Origin was updated. Like, fully updated. It went from being a beta that actually worked reasonably well to a full release that is broken. Mostly because, thanks to the lack of Origin in-game, you can't play multiplayer with anyone. Now, I'm lucky. I'm one of the about 10%-ish of Origin users that can actually pull up the in-game overlay. I wanted to play some Dead Space 3 co-op with Seka when he was staying with us a couple of weeks ago. Could we? Could we? Hell. And that led to us not actually playing much more of Dead Space 3, either of us, because much as we really enjoyed the game, we couldn't play the multiplayer. For a game that has been touted as having a really good co-op mode, we couldn't play it. Same with Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, same with hundreds of other titles on Origin that require the Origin in-game to run the multiplayer. I should note that this hasn't affected games like Crisis Wars that are on Steam, that are still run through EA's servers. Interesting, that. Now, this speaks to the DRM culture that we've got going in gaming right now. The always-on connection, the requirement that we have to phone home because clearly we're all pirating games left, right and centre. This pisses me off. And it pisses me off because it just assumes that I'm going to go out and pirate the game anyway. Therefore, I have to deal with shitty, always-on DRM. Because what? Because I am a criminal by default because I play games? Sorry, guys who purport always-on DRM, I don't buy that. Now, the fact that I can't play a game that I have paid for, and legitimately, I don't know if I own it. I don't know if by downloading it off a server somewhere I actually own the bloody thing. I guess I'm more renting it. But the point is, I've paid for the service. And if I can't play it because my internet's gone down for a couple of hours, it really pisses me off. Say I've got a train journey or a flight or something, as is quite common for me, and I want to play, say, Dead Space 3 on my laptop. I can't. I can't play it on the train unless I'm willing to use up a load of my phone's data allowance to authenticate before playing the game. Why? Why do we need this? Because EA believes we're criminals, I guess, and everyone else has just fallen in line. EA, you'd built up some, honest to God, good grace with me. That's all gone away now. Like, properly gone away. That, and you've canned Dead Space 4, guys. Go on, I enjoyed Dead Space 3. Bring Dead Space 4 back and we'll talk. Also, drop the always-on DRM bullshit, but bring back Dead Space 4. Yeah, I've been Thef. In the next few episodes, I'll talk a bit more about DRM and indeed DLC, the two big Ds that seem to be a problem in gaming these days. Have fun, guys. Take care, and I'll see you next time.